Hello everybody and welcome to another Magic Duels gameplay video. Today we're going to look at another very interesting deck using the Emerge mechanic, and we're going to show a couple games with it, and then we'll have a round of Two-Headed Giant with my buddy Wild Boar to show how it works in Two-Headed Giant. So here we go. First, we'll go ahead and look at the cards the deck is using. Go ahead and skip this part if you want to just go straight to the games, but first I want to show you how it's built. So we've got Prey Upon as a very cheap kill card, and it works pretty good in this deck because this deck is full of a lot of big Eldrazi creatures. Which use the Emerge mechanic. Sylvan Advocate, not really Eldrazi card or anything, but it's always pretty good in a green deck. Plummet is for flyers. Nature's Way is another kill card which doesn't actually have a fight effect. Just can kill the creatures outright on the opponent's side. Got Nissa as a very powerful planeswalker. Can be useful for getting more lands. And Ronos, the Indomitable and Indestructible Death Touch God for only 3 mana. And of course you need big creatures for it to be effective, but this deck, as you'll soon see, is full of lots of big creatures. Tireless Tracker, always good in a green deck and gets bigger over time, as well as gives you a card advantage. Emrakul's Evangel, this is going to be one of the Eldrazi payoffs. If you've got a bunch of tokens, you can sacrifice them and turn those tokens into 3/2 Eldrazi horror tokens instead. So it's pretty cool. It has its uses definitely by upgrading some of your small creatures into big ones. One of the main creatures is the Foul Emissary, which is only a 1/1, but for the purposes of Emerge, it's incredibly powerful. As you see at the bottom there, when you cast something with Emerge, this 1/1 gets replaced with a 3/2 colorless Eldrazi horror creature when you sacrifice the Foul Emissary. And just to begin with, the Foul Emissary finds the big Emerge Eldrazi creatures for you. So that's kind of its point in the deck, even though it's only a 1/1. Byway Courier is just another decent 3-drop that can create a token for you to get some extra draws. Marasa, Pulse of Marasa can bring back lands or creatures, especially if there were valuable ones, and a nice way to gain a big chunk of life back. A little bit of a catch-up mechanism. Liliana, the Last Hope, as a planeswalker, also works great in this deck. One of the major payoffs is Priest of the Bloodright, which costs 5, which is very, very good. It gives you a 2/2 and a 5/5 demon that's flying. And the point of this is you can sacrifice the 2/2 because you don't want to keep it for the Emerge cost. And for Emerge purposes, as you'll see, this counts for 5. So here's our first Emerge creature, and you can emerge it for 5 and 2 black. So previously you could actually just play this creature for 2 black. So you can get a 5/5 creature for only 2 black. And then it has some nice effects when it comes in, making the opponent discard a small card, or a cheap card, I should say, and an expensive card. Then we have an Abundant Maw with the Emerge mechanic. And once again, the Emerge mechanic, if you don't know, is just you can sacrifice a creature and reduce the mana cost of this creature by sacrificing a creature. And a lot of the creatures we're going to be sacrificing, actually we want to be sacrificing. So these are all the giant Emerge creatures that we'll be playing. I'm not going to read all the information about them because that would take too long. And this is a black-green deck. This Decimator of the Providences pretty much is a game changer. Pretty much ends the game. And here we have our lands. The dual green and black lands, of course. One of which can become a 2/2 Death Touch, which can be nice as a mana sink if you need an extra Death Touch blocker. And then Westvale Abbey is very good in this deck. Changing into Ormondal, the Profane Prince, a 9/7 indestructible lifelink flying haste creature, because we will be having plenty of tokens that we can sacrifice if we need to. So that's how the deck is built. Once again, only a 2-color deck because the mana fixing in Magic Duels isn't the best. So sometimes it's kind of hard to fix your mana, since we don't have too many mana fixing options in this version of the game. But yeah, and often I'm playing the opponent on the kind of medium setting, if you saw, instead of a hard opponent, because actually the hard and medium are about the same. The AI plays about the same. But in the medium mode, the AI doesn't seem to give up. If you're playing hard, the AI is very, very aggressive, and usually they kill themselves because they're just too aggressive, and they don't keep blockers back for, say, your fatal attack, which I found a lot of games, that is the biggest mistake that Magic the Gathering players make. So we're going to go ahead and have a miss here. Boy, Foul Emissary did not hit anything. That was bad. But yeah, the biggest mistake I've always see all the time is players are just too aggressive. In any format of the Magic the Gathering, they're way too aggressive, and then the opponent will maybe kill a blocker that they play, and then they've got Fatal on the way back. And if they would have been a little bit more patient and less aggressive, then they could have survived longer. So yeah, the opponent on the hard AI is very aggressive, and if the AI determines that it's about to lose, it'll just sort of give up. Kind of like when players just quit because they don't want to wait, or they feel like they're about to lose, even though a lot of games aren't over yet. So I don't like playing the hardest AI version. It doesn't play very well. The medium actually plays better because he plays about the same as the hard, but he doesn't actually give up. We'll continue to play cards. We'll continue to try to win. Even if you have lethal on board and there's no way the opponent could win, he keeps trying. So yeah, we're facing down a couple flyers here, and I don't have much. I could emerge this, and we're going to do it on our Emissary. As I mentioned, the Emissary will be replaced, and these 2 1/1 tokens came from the It of the Horde Swarm, and the 3/2 token came from sacrificing the Emissary. So as you can see, that was pretty powerful, and we've got a bunch of tokens now, and all we lost was a 1/1. Looks like our opponent's going to keep the 2/2 first strike back, which kind of makes sense. It can block everything except for the 4/4. But yeah, we drew Plummet, which is great to have in emergency and in situations where we have to deal with flyers. The Evangel, I probably need to get that out, and I can change those 1/1s into 3/2s. But let me go ahead, and I'm just going to get rid of this first striker, I think. And I'll get a good chunk of damage in, as well as play something else out, instead of just a single play this turn. Oh, he's got something. Magma Spray? Okay. No big loss, really. I'm going to keep my 1/1s as jumpers. Oh, wow. Electrify 2, that does 4 damage. Well, I mean, it's good to get those kill cards out of the opponent's hand, I guess. Since I've got the Evangel coming up, I can change those 1/1s into something bigger. And what's nice is that effect doesn't cost anything. So the opponent's just going to embalm that 3/3. Tireless Tracker is good, but need a land. So I can get immediate value from the tracker. If you just play him down, it's often he gets killed. So let's go ahead and we'll gain 6 life here and get our It of the Horde Swarm back, which I can replay pretty easily and make some more tokens. But I am taking quite a bit of damage in the air here, that's the problem. This deck doesn't really have a lot of reach, and it's mostly about throwing down big creatures as quick as possible. But I think we'll be okay. Ooh, that Brawler is tough, but we got plenty of blockers on the ground. He got rid of another kill card. Ooh, got Decimator of the Providences. Now I just need a decently sized creature to sacrifice to it. If I can draw my Priest. The Priest is always great because you can just play him and get a nice big 5/5 flying demon. And also at the same time you can just sacrifice the actual Priest, usually on the same turn sometimes, and get another big Eldrazi creature out there. But yeah, the opponent's trying to whittle me down here. Oh wow, so he's going to sacrifice something with that. Do 3 more damage to my face. So yeah, it's not looking too good. I'm actually going to play Liliana here and shrink down the flyer because pretty much any other play I make, you know, this turn I would be dead to that flyer because the flyer was a 3/3 flyer and I had no way to block it or remove it. Let me go ahead and put some pressure of my own. Interesting. I guess he didn't want to give me a token. And you may want to re-embalm that. Yeah. See if he sacrifices. So he's not going to sacrifice his flyer. Just bringing his 4/3 back. And 1 damage to the face. And he's empty, so maybe okay here since the opponent is kind of ignoring Liliana. So I can keep shrinking down this flyer and maybe put enough pressure that he'll have to leave a blocker back. So I can't quite win the game with the Decimator here. So we'll go ahead and make a couple more 1/1s again, make a clue token, and get our 4/4 down. Actually, I can still play the Decimator here on the 4/4. That may have been lethal, but I'm going to go ahead and wait 1 more turn here, I think. Since I don't see myself dying this next turn. Unless he can buff the flyer somehow. But yeah, this deck is kind of weak to flyers. That's why I've got a couple copies of Plummet in the deck to take care of problematic flyers. And yeah, he's going to stay back, so he could have taken me down to 1 there. Oh, and there's my Priest. So we'll just keep shrinking his flyer down. It's kind of risky to play the priest, to be honest, because it does 2 damage to you at the beginning of upkeep. And I don't think I have enough mana to play the decimator afterwards, which would be ideal. Play the priest and then play the decimator. So I'm just going to go ahead and play the decimator here and end the game. This is kind of a Craterhoof behemoth Eldrazi card. Gives everything haste and trample, +2/+2, and yeah, it's usually game over when this happens. Pumps all your creatures, everybody's got trample, everybody's got haste. And yeah, I just had 2 life. It was looking a little dicey there, but we pulled off the win. Alright, let's try another game with this deck. And I'll do maybe 2 more here. As always, I try to do maybe 3 showcasings or so, and then we'll do a 2-headed giant round with a friend of mine and see how this deck works in a 2-headed giant. There are some decks and there are some mechanics, which maybe I'll show some of my other videos, where they don't work too well in the 2-headed giant format. And I'll show some of those off. But this deck is decent in 2-headed giant, depending on what your buddy picks. Like if they pick a life gain deck or a mill deck or something like that. This is a pretty good brutal beatdown deck. It's a little slow to get going, but once it gets going, these giant Eldrazi creatures can beat down pretty effectively. So he's just hitting me in the air with that 3/3, which is a 2/2 Dustwalker, which he can pump and give it flying if he wants. No point in playing the God since it can't attack and block yet. And I'll just kind of play a little bit of defense here for the moment. I do have the Priest in hand, so that's nice. For when I get enough mana. The Priest is also a really good chump blocker because he does 2 damage to every turn, so you actively want him to die. And that's why he's great to sacrifice in this deck. It's kind of a suspicious attack, but I'll try the block. Nope, that did not work out for me. I forgot that guy can buff himself. Yeah, I probably should have been aware of that, but that's okay. So yeah, if anybody was interested in the Emerge mechanic, this is kind of the deck where it fits the best, and it works out pretty well. I don't know too many people that play the Emerge mechanic, or have even really tried it out. There aren't a lot of creatures that have the Emerge name on them, and it's mostly Eldrazi. Yeah, I'm going to be taking a hit here, so go ahead and take out his 2/2 legendary, which he'll probably just, yeah, embalm here. That's okay, I'm not worried. This deck, it can be a little worrisome. You can take a beating at the beginning, because like I said, it is slow to get started. And I definitely want to get this Priest out as soon as possible because it will start draining your life. Sadly, I don't have an Emerge creature in my hand to sacrifice the 2/2 next turn. But I'm perfectly happy to chump block with it, so it'll be gone. I can't chump block that because that is an unblockable token. So he can make one of his tokens unblockable each turn, and I'm taking 2 damage from the Priest every turn. So I could draw, but I think I'm going to take care of this guy so that he can't make unblockable tokens. Unblockable is pretty dangerous when I'm this low. And I probably can't attack because that 3/3 is going to become a 4/4 flyer with first strike next turn. So I need a flyer to block. I guess the Demon and Plummet are the only two ways in this deck to deal with flyers. So the opponent go ahead and instead back. He's just waiting for me to drain myself to death. And I drew another Priest. But I can go ahead and emerge here on the first one to get rid of it. But I think playing the second one out might be a little dangerous. So since the Priest costs 5, this emerge only costs me 2. And I can destroy... Let me destroy this Cartouche on this guy, giving him first strike. Oh, he's going to try to censor it. Yeah, I'll pay 1. Censor is just a conditional counter, but I got plenty of extra mana, so no worries. But yeah, if I can draw another emerge creature, I can play out this second Priest, and then I'll just emerge and immediately sacrifice it. We'll have a couple 5/5 flying demons. But I do want to be careful with the life total when you have this Priest. If you have no way to sacrifice him, he can kill you because he does 2 damage per turn. So yeah, I'm probably not going to play the Priest out here when I'm this low. Let's go ahead and see if we can draw a emerge creature here. And then I'll start putting on the pressure. That is not an emerge creature. Come on. Well, it's just going to be all lands for days this time, huh? Oh, Pulse of Marasa is pretty good. I'm kind of forcing him to chump here because, yeah, that was a lot of damage. And he doesn't seem to have anything in hand, so it looks like the opponent's dead. But yeah, let's go ahead and get something back here. I guess I don't really have an Eldrazi in my graveyard, sadly. So I'll just get back this Sylvan Advocate, which is actually really good when you finally built your mana up. Once again, if your mana flooded, you know, that's a good creature to have because the more mana you have, he becomes a 4/5 with Vigilance. And yeah, I just keep drawing lands, but that's okay. The Tireless Tracker is great for, you know, all the extra card draw. And as always, I'm going to maybe give the opponent one more turn here because I'm curious just to see what he has. And if he can make a comeback, it makes the game more interesting. But yeah, it looks like the opponent has given up. And I was kind of hoping to draw another emerge creature that I could show off. Let's see if I can with my last draw here. But yeah, the tracker's great for drawing, especially if you're getting all this mana. You know, if I wasn't drawing it all in advance, I wouldn't be having many creatures out here. So let's just go ahead and buff my creatures, do as much damage as we can. And that's lethal. How'd we do? -33? Not bad. Alrighty, one more here. There's several of the emerge creatures I haven't gotten a chance to show off yet. So I would like to do that, and then we'll do our two-headed giant round. So yeah, the first hand was pretty bad with 2-tap lands. So I went ahead and kept this hand, although it's a lot of lands, but you actually want quite a bit of lands because of all the big creatures, and usually if I have an opening hand with a lot of lands, there's a decent chance that you'll be drawing creatures instead of just more lands. So, but there is some luck to it, and of course, Tireless Tracker is great. That pretty much fixes for all the card draw that I need. Make sure to play the Tireless Tracker on turn 4, so you can get some value out of him, just in case the opponent has some kind of instant kill card, then your Tireless Tracker doesn't give you any value. But if you play him on turn 4, you can play him and then play a land, and at least you'll get a token out of him. So I'm going to go ahead and get the tracker going here. Get another land out so he can create a clue. And as always with this deck, we're probably going to take a bit of a beating before these giant Eldrazi creatures get going. But once again, that's okay. We do have some life gain, and once your big creatures are down, the game is over pretty quickly. So if you're playing this, don't feel too bad about taking some damage at the beginning. It is a slow deck. If you're on the draw, it can be pretty tough. That's why Pulse of Marasa is there in the deck. If you lose something incredibly valuable, like one of your big creatures, or say your planeswalkers, the Pulse of Marasa gains you 6 life, and you can get one of your planeswalkers back, like Liliana or Nissa, which are in the deck. Sadly, only 1 copy of each. But yeah, once again, the reason the Byway Courier is in there is because when he dies, he creates a clue token. So he's really good to sacrifice to these to the Emerge effect. A Serpiopod. Not sure what 2 animals hung out together to get that going. Oh well. I'm not sure why the opponent shut that creature down, so that creature can't attack and block, but I was going to sacrifice it anyway, so kind of surprising. Usually the opponent will go for the Tireless Tracker, since the Tireless Tracker is much more dangerous. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and draw a bunch here. There's Liliana. And of course, if you can ultimate Liliana, that's pretty amazing in this deck. Being able, her ultimate allows you to get any creature back that died, so you can just keep bringing your giant Eldrazi back. Okay, I understand now. That's why the opponent shut down my 3/2. He had another compulsory rest to shut down the Tireless Tracker, but that's okay. I'm just going to go ahead and sacrifice this guy, get a clue token, and gain some life. And yeah, the Tireless Tracker can still give me value. But, so yeah, I got 6 life and got the Courier back. So maybe I'll keep the Tracker around for a bit here instead of sacrificing him. And the reason I haven't played the Abomination of Nature or whatever it's called is because its effect is to destroy an enchantment or artifact, and the opponent hasn't played any. So, and the Abundant Maw just gains me life and drains the opponent. But it may be time to put something big out. Or Liliana, which can shrink down the 6/4 trample he's got. But yeah, I think the Tireless Tracker has done enough. Let me see if I can get anything better. I mean, he's growing bigger, but Mockery of Nature. Actually, well, yeah, you know what? The Mockery of Nature can destroy the Compulsory Rest on my 7/4, so I think I'll sacrifice one of my creatures and then destroy that instead. That'll be quite a bit more value, since my opponent just isn't playing anything for me to destroy. Well, that's kind of desperate. I was afraid, since he does have white, he might have the zombie kill card, which says destroy creature that's blocking or was blocked by a zombie. So that's why I did that. Well, I like all my creatures, so let me see if I can draw something cheap here. Not really in a rush. Got back up to 20 life, so. But I am staring down a couple 6/4s now. I can only shrink one of them. Let me see if I can draw a priest. A priest would be ideal. Well, that works. So we can deal 9 damage to something. But I won't be attacking with that, really. But yeah, this 10/9 is kind of valuable now. So another reason why some of the Eldrazi are pretty nice, you can actually remove some of these curse style enchantments from your creatures. So you can use them again. And it's another strange attack, but I'll go ahead and take the bait. So you got something that can do 1 damage, maybe a fight spell. No. What else you got? It's got 1 more in hand. I'm not sure what that is. And we've got Prey Upon. Another way we can just finish off the 6/4 using our 10/9. So yeah, even though this Tireless Tracker's been shut down the whole game, he's actually been doing quite a bit of work. And I'm gonna get Liliana close to ultimate here. I'm trying to actually draw a priest here because I really like what's on the board, and there we go. So there's a priest. So next turn I can just play that out, get a 5/5 demon, and then play one of my big emerge creatures. Because I really didn't want to sacrifice anything. And the 3/2 can actually be useful if I make some tokens. I can turn them into 3/2s as you saw in a previous round. And the opponent shouldn't have any good attacks, really. But yeah, this Tireless Tracker, even though he's shut down, he's still doing quite a bit. Ooh, Dusk. Destroy all creatures with power 3 or greater. Well, that messes up my plan. So even if I sacrifice everything and turn them into 3/2s, it's still going to kill them because it's 3 or greater, so... And so I might as well sacrifice this guy. Bummer. Yeah, I was going to use Mockery of Nature to get rid of that. So, well played, opponent. But yeah, I've got a priest here, so we've got a pretty good comeback from that. His creatures didn't get killed either because I had shrunk down the 4/4 with Liliana, so yeah, that was a good play by the opponent. So let's go ahead and emerge this Abundant Maw, get rid of the 2/2, which does damage to you. Drain him for 3, gain 3, and now we've got 3 nice big creatures back on the board. I don't expect him to have another one of those board wipes, but he might. And Liliana's about ready to ultimate, so maybe I can get an ultimate going this game before our 2-headed giant round. This one's definitely got on longer than I anticipated. He's gonna cycle that flyer, huh? Well, that's too bad. Maybe he knew I had Plummet in my hand, so his flyer would have been useless. So what do you got? Ooh, Gideon again. Is he gonna make the emblem? It says he cannot lose the game and we cannot win the game unless we destroy the Gideon Planeswalker. Another compulsory rest, wow. Alrighty, well, let's go ahead and do what I plan to do with this Mockery of Nature and destroy the enchantment he put on me. I didn't want to get rid of my Abundant Maw, but I had to sacrifice something. And keeping the 5/5 flower would have been a better choice, so... And yeah, I probably could have just hard cast, now that I think about it, since I have enough mana out there. But just in case something goes wrong, I want to keep these lands available. By the way, these 2 dual lands can become 2/2 Death Touch creatures. But yeah, I just want to play with the Liliana emblem. It's rare that I get the Liliana emblem out there. But it looks like he's pretty dead now. Yeah, I can just plummet this before the end of his turn. And he's gonna be dead. He's thinking about his demise. Ending the turn. I even got Westvale Abbey, which once again, as I mentioned, there's a decent amount of tokens in this deck you can use with Westvale Abbey. Let me just go ahead and emerge this other creature because I'm just wanting to show off the emerge creatures as much as I can. Sacrifice the courier, create a clue, draw a card. But yeah, the Abbey can sacrifice zombies or the insect tokens that you create in this deck. But yeah, attacking his face all out isn't going to do anything here. So I need to attack Gideon. Oh, and you know what? I just realized that my 5/5 that I sent to Gideon is the one that does no damage this turn. That's Gideon's other ability. He can choose a creature. Yeah. So he chose. I didn't remember that he chose my god here, and so now the god can't do damage. If you scroll down, you have to scroll down here. It'll deal no damage, so I didn't do any damage to him. That's okay. Got to see Liliana spawn a bunch more zombies. It's a rare sight. And it's rare to see the opponent still alive with a negative value for his life total. But yeah, this is a fun deck. I really enjoy playing it, and the emerge mechanic is quite interesting. I don't think it's used enough. I think people should try it more often because it's a lot of fun. But yeah, let's go ahead and we'll just get our opponent out of his misery here. See how much damage we can do, and then I'll send the demon at Gideon to end the game. Could also animate the 2/2 Death Touch lands and draw a card, but let's just go ahead and end our opponent's suffering. And now let's go on and see how this deck will work in a two-headed giant round. So here we go. A lot more fun playing two-headed giant. And I'm not sure what my buddy Wild Boar is going to choose here, but we'll see. But it's going to be me and Wild Boar against a couple of opponents. And I am doing the Emerge deck. And it looks like he's doing the Vampire Life deck. The Life of a Vampire. Another good deck, which I'm making a video about. So I'll make sure to catch that one also, because the vampires are also a lot of fun. A lot of life gain, so the Vampire Life Gain deck, Vampire Life, is a good combo with the Emerge deck that I'm playing, so this is a pretty good combination. Because, you know, once again, I'm a little slow to get started with all my big creatures. And so my ally here keeps playing cards before I get a chance to play one. But my ally can keep the our life total up while I get set up and get the big creatures going. This deck, you know, does require quite a decent number of lands, so if I don't draw a couple more lands, I'm going to be in trouble. But my partner here can probably hold off the enemy. Uh-oh, Magma Spray to kill the 2/2. Yeah, that's typical. And another Serpiopod, so creatures, spells can't be countered. So yeah, this is a problem. I didn't draw any land, but I'm going to go ahead and control the board here if I can, while my buddy here drains the opponent's life. And I'm fine taking a trade here too, since I have Vigilance and Trample. I don't think the opponent will take this trade, but I'm perfectly fine if he does take the trade. We'll see. Kind of an interesting choice, but I'm pretty sure he won't take it. Yeah, he's just gonna take the damage. Well, with these foul emissaries in hand, I can, I can hit some big creatures, of course. But the important thing is I need another black source for Liliana here, since she is 2 black. Shoot, yeah, and I'm not even drawing a single black mana here. Once again, Magic Duels doesn't have a lot of the mana fixing cards. So I did hit a Mindbender. I got 2 of those now. Those are good for messing with the opponent's hand, that's for sure. And my partner plays Always Watching, which is great, giving everything +1/+1 and Vigilance. And Grasp of Darkness is an instant he's got there that he can use. But yeah, I definitely need to draw some black mana here. There's only 4 dual lands in the deck, because there's only 4 in the game that are available that are green-black. And then of course the rest of them are just basics, basic green and basic blacks. Probably could have chumped that 5/4, but I do you want to keep the foul emissaries for your emerge. Well, I got a land, but it's not the land I wanted. So at least I can emerge. If I get 1 more land, I can probably emerge. And we got the Decimator of the Providences. It's pretty much a game ender. Game finisher, if I can get it out there. Yeah, my buddy isn't drawing too many vampires right now. He's got a bunch of lands, and I'm kind of missing my lands. So his vampire synergies aren't happening. And yeah, I need 2 more black for this Priest of the Blood Rites, so not ideal situation here. I mean, we are winning against the opponent in life, but that could change. I just noticed the red guy that's across from me is kind of mana screwed. So that's why he hasn't been playing much. He's only got 2 lands down. Well, at least I drew something I could play, I guess. But yeah, I definitely need 2 blacks here, as we're just doing 2 damage per turn pretty much. And my partner isn't drawing any more vampire. If he draws a vampire or an ally, the Callistra healer there, the 2/3, will do some draining. Lots of draining of the opponent's life. Ooh, wow, pretty good play by the opponent there. Using Feed and drawing a card for each creature 3 powered or more. So he got to draw 4 cards there. Well, it looks like he's going to have to discard, because he's got 8. Well, we'll see. He's got 2 mana available. Played a tap land, so yeah, he's gonna maybe have to discard. And it looks like he's getting aggressive. So my partner here, Wild Boar, is gonna prevent some of our damage. He seems to be debating on what's the most threatening creature to kill. Because the 3/3 that's not a token there gives everything trample, so all the creatures on the opponent's side have trample, and he didn't have enough black mana to play the second Grasp of Darkness. Well, we did get a Deathcap Cultivator, which can tap for black or green, and that's why it's in the deck. So there is 1 extra mana there for me next turn. I have found that this deck can often have problems with the mana base, so I put the Deathcap Cultivator in there since he's pretty cheap, and he also has Delirium, so he can have Death Touch, and he can also tap for mana, so he can help you if you're having mana trouble, if you don't draw the Tireless Tracker, which gives this deck all of its card draw, so you can draw the lands you need. Sometimes you don't have a Tireless Tracker, so the Deathcap Cultivator can be an extra land, as well as a creature. Uh-oh. So he's going to deal X damage to each creature with flying. So he wants to kill the 2/5 that my buddy has. It's kind of a waste of his mana, but yeah, the flyer was the thing that was doing all the damage, and our opponent doesn't have any reach creatures and doesn't have any flying creatures to block, so I can see his reasoning for that. But yeah, Gideon can just make allies every turn. Well, I got a green, but yeah, I really need a black so I can play these priests out. I'm going to go ahead and emerge this onto the Foul Emissary. Drain the opponent for 3. We gain 3, and we'll get a 3/2 token in exchange for the 1/1. So yeah, the Foul Emissary, even though it's a 1/1, it looks like a little creature and kind of pathetic. It is, a 3 mana creature, so it adds 3 mana to the emerge cost. So it's actually surprisingly good. And it also searches up an emerge creature for you. And often the opponents will kind of leave it alone because it's just a 1/1, it's not really threatening. But, it's actually really good. It finds you a creature, you can sacrifice it to the emerge creature, and it replaces itself with a 3/2 Eldrazi Horror. So, yeah, it's not to be underestimated. Yeah, hopefully I can draw another black here. Uh-oh. Well, what's this? So he's going to recast this, deal 4 damage to each creature without flying. Yeah, that's a board wipe. Pretty much. Not much I can do. But Wild Boar here can finish off his last creature, and yeah, we've pretty much cleared the board. At least I get a token. Clue token that I can sacrifice. Yeah, if I get one more black, we're good to go. I can get the priest out there and I can emerge onto it. I'm just really missing my card draw engine with the Tireless Tracker. That is not a card I need. Come on, black. Well, there's a black, but I lost the creature that taps for black. So I could have done this at instant speed, but I'm just going to make a 1/1 token here. Since I just need one more black to get the stuff out of my hand. But yeah, this sometimes happens. You'll have like a hand full of Eldrazi, and you do need creatures to sacrifice to them. So sacrifice fodder is important for this deck, but the sacrifice fodder can't be cheap creatures. You want creatures with high mana value to sacrifice. You can't just put a bunch of 1/1s that cost 1 mana in, because they don't really contribute to the emerge cost. But yeah, our opponent's back on the board with some pretty scary creatures. He's got that 5/5 indestructible Death Touch God, and the 5/3 flyer with a shield on it, which means we can't directly target it with a skill. Oh, that's scary. So the Glorybringer is definitely not fun. I definitely should have made my 1/1 at instant speed, but yeah, misplay. Oh, and I actually drew the black. So yeah, kind of a choice between Liliana and the Priest here, but we've got plenty of life here. Yeah, my opponent's creating a token, or my partner here is creating a token. So yeah, and actually making that token means it's going to drain the opponent to death. So yeah, that was a two-headed giant round. Was looking a little iffy there at the end, but we pulled off the victory in the end. So thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. Check out my main channel, East Guru Japan Gaming, for lots of other interesting and great content. Lots more content over there. And we'll see you in the next one. Johnny.